Coin traders, how we doing? What's going on? Crypto fam, looking at XRP, Ripple's XRP on that ticker. Huge rocket ship for explosion pretty much ever since we had the start of November. So for about the last month or so, just absolute skyrocketing upside. And if we actually go ahead and look at the daily chart right now and look at the bearish candles that we have, we can see that even the bodies of these bearish candles are essentially extremely minimal. So the only real upside we have on this daily chart is just huge pumps heading north here for the price. And that's why if we actually go ahead and zoom out, you can just see what an absolute vertical explosion this is. And when we did have the price just absolutely explode down around the 50-cent level here, shooting up right now, current price 274. So gains of about 5.5x. So 450% gain from that point. So actually explosive move in a huge 1 month time frame. And with that big explosive move, I actually want to look at CoinMarketCap right now. Just look how we actually have XRP dominate and take over Solana and Tether. So XRP back in the number 3 spot right now. Just absolutely insane to see what sort of gains we have. And actually, if we go ahead and look down to Stellar's XLM, also pretty much a similar crypto as well. So that's shooting up about as much of a rocket as you can expect. So XRP, where do we expect it can go from here? Well, I did make a post here over on Twitter, or X at coin_trades is the handle. If you have not followed me just yet, definitely drop me a follow. And looking forward to chatting everyone over there. But anyway, make no mistake about it, there will be a sizable correction for a lot of these altcoins, with XRP obviously being extremely top on that list with such big explosive moves. So with the explosion, we do have vertical and parabolic charts that don't sustain, and they do need a retracement. So enjoy this upside now, but we know that a retracement is coming. With this, though, this isn't necessarily a prediction. We're going to have an immediate correction and retracement from here. Just know that it ultimately is going to happen, and we actually haven't seen any cryptos or pretty much any financial chart for that matter that just gets parabolic and extremely vertical without the inevitable sell-off. So like we've talked about on the channel before several times, that we know that the more vertical we do get in not only parabolic moves, but just in a chart setup as well, the more the upside risk does start to get a lot higher in favor of that sell-off and that downside action. Because essentially what happens is all this volume here that has been buying, especially on this way up, does start to panic the second that this chart does start flipping. And that kind of creates a little bit of a cascade and sell-off effect. And then obviously anytime we do have leveraged positions as well, those are in major jeopardy of getting liquidated. And that just sees an absolute flush down the order book here, because a lot of people aren't necessarily putting in bids as the price goes up. They're pretty much FOMOing in, buying a lot of market positions to the upside, which is why we do get extremely big pumps and price moves like this, just because a lot of volume sucks up that order book here. And that's really what drives up the price so much in an overall trading day. Now, one thing that we have fueling a lot of this rally is that we do have an upcoming expected and anticipated XRP ETF. And so again, just want to highlight here over on Twitter, or X, did make a post about this earlier today, talking about major investment firms eyeing the XRP ETFs. So a lot more excitement and hype and euphoria, obviously, especially with the Gary Gensler announcement that he's going to be stepping back, since he was kind of one of the biggest villains and regulatory people against XRP, creating a lot of issues. So a lot of good news and excitement coming in, and that's kind of why it's been fueling a lot of upside, emotional, FOMO-driven buying as well. And one of the things about this too is that if we actually go ahead and zoom out here, look at the price, we haven't seen prices this high since we actually had our huge explosive altcoin bull move back at the start of 2018. And just like we talked about vertical upside moves here, just on this weekly chart, you can see how this actually played out back in 2018. Now, everyone always wants to think that this time it's going to be different and whatnot, but we actually have never seen vertical moves in any type of financial chart, especially with this magnitude, not result in an inevitable sell-off and correction of some type of scale over the longer term anyway. So again, looking at the end of 2017, early 2018, this is when we did see the price of XRP go from about 22 cents all the way up to its current all-time high at about 350, just over that. And so as you can see, short time period as well, and pretty much just not too much longer than that until it actually retraced the full amount. So a lot of hype-driven buying right now, and with that doesn't necessarily lead to a lot of sustainment, since it's all speculative, and speculative is based and driven on sentiment and sentiment can change and flip in this crypto space very quickly, as we've all seen before. But just want to point out too on this chart how anytime we have seen big vertical moves, and we do see them pretty frequently for XRP, we actually immediately have, and you can see almost every single time we do have these big retracements that do come in. So we do have big moves coming into the upside, pullbacks, big moves, pullbacks. So every single time we have seen it, it's not going to make us think that this time is going to be any different, but that doesn't mean that we can just call a top yet. And that's why we actually do look at some of the shorter time frame charts. So for example, if we actually look at the 4-hour chart here, this is one of the charts that's pretty much majorly in control because we know that the chart setups have been extremely effective and relevant. So what do I mean by this? Well, every single time we have a rally and a pullback, we get confirmation of these exponential moving averages as being that nice upside move. So big, nice parabolic upside move consolidates here. And like we always talk about, that sets up the stage for the next parabolic move. Then we see a consolidation confirming exponential support on these charts, and then that leads to the next parabolic move once again. So until we actually see this pattern break, we are going to think that this is ultimately just going to continue, and we could even end up with the next leg of the next parabolic move. So assuming there's a little bit of consolidation, even potentially a reason for a little bit of a retracement, and then obviously we could be underweight once again. One thing we do have to be extremely mindful of though too, especially as we do get more parabolic and more vertical, is that these exponential moving averages can only go so vertical themselves without actually seeing a bearish cross here. And then that's where we actually get a prolonged sell-off. So that is kind of one of the reasons in one of the cases, well, we actually don't like seeing too much vertical without a little prolonged opportunity for these exponential moving averages to kind of roll up and start to actually flatline and taper off a little bit, be that nice guide, and then we can see the price consolidate once again. So very good example and indication of is pretty much on this consolidation level from about November, the 22nd of November, until we had our recent breakout here on the 28th. So as you can see, started to get a little bit more vertical, consolidated here. The 12 and 26 started to get a little bit tighter, confirmed support off this 50 period EMA, and then the bulls found their way once again. So those are setups that we like seeing. Obviously in this instance as well, had a very nice pennant formation, confirmed support off the 26 period EMA, and then had the next leg of upside. So this is why on charts, we like seeing periods of consolidation and allowing these exponential moving averages to catch up, because that pretty much flatlines and establishes this as a big supportive level. And even looking on the RSI relative strength index, you can see how these periods are essential because they do allow this RSI to cool down from these big overbought levels. And so since we're looking at some of these technical levels, do want to look at the daily chart here for XRP and just look at this relative strength index here, because we've been overextended over the 70 line since the 10th of November. So pretty much just a few days after we actually saw this take off. And so that's why in an uptrend, being overbought above the 70 line isn't as relevant as when we're in an uptrend and we see a sell-off where we do see the RSI below the 30 line here. So it is the flips for a reversing trend too. So for a downside trend, seeing an overextended and oversold RSI isn't necessarily as relevant as when prices bounce and we do get this little blip of a little bit overextended. That's a lot more relevant of an indication that's going to be a little bit more reliable. But the thing about this XRP chart right now on this daily, especially with the RSI, is that if we actually zoom out, you can see that the last time we've had this much overextension for so long on this XRP chart was exactly right the last time we had a similar type move back in 2018, the start of 2018, which was when we had our big, nice pop-off rally for the altcoin season here before finally retracing and having our huge major sell-off into a longer-term winter bear cycle. So obviously, like we said, not trying to call a top, pretty much never want to call tops and bottoms here, but overall, you just have to approach this with an assessed risk mindset and a potential scenario. So if you have had very nice entries all the way at the lower stages for XRP, examining nice gains here and experiencing a lot of upside movement, might be time to start taking some profit here and obviously making a little bit of a plan, because we know that a retracement of some sort is coming. But obviously, still being the start of a crypto bull cycle, we know that it probably won't be as much or sustainable, and it'll probably just be a sizable dip more or less, correcting, and then, like we said, probably carrying on for the longer term on the next upside. But anyway, just have a plan, not financial advice, of course, but just some hopeful guidance and regular non-quote-unquote financial advice. Now flipping down into some of these shorter term charts here, and we can't slow down and call a top, especially until we've actually changed the trend on the shorter term. So still looking very nice right now on the 15-minute chart, and we are about to complete a pennant pattern. So if we can see a very nice break of this bullish pennant here and continuation, then we would expect a very nice breakout rally, confirming a back test and then continuing on for this XRP price chart, probably heading up around the $3 mark. So just know that, like we said, still a lot of upside potential in the short-term chart is still looking great. But obviously, the more vertical we do get on these charts, the more you have to be aware that the sell-off is inevitable and ultimately coming here. And especially once we see a lot of these big sell-offs, we know that sell-off is going to be coming. So although we haven't seen a change in trend just yet, we know that there is starting to be a lot of big volume here, taking a lot of those profits. And so just be aware and expect that. So overall, we've seen a lot of hype coming into XRP right now. Not sure how sustainable it is for the rest of the bull cycle here as well. This very well could be one of the cryptos that takes off and then starts to struggle with the rest of the crypto space and does start to slip back down in that crypto market rankings, just because a lot of the hype is starting to come in early, and then that will shift into other sectors and other crypto projects as well. But obviously, it's going to be exciting to see what happens, enjoying the short-term nice rally and run for XRP. But otherwise, feel free to post all your questions, comments, issues, disagreements, all that stuff down in the comment sections or over on Twitter or X. I do love getting back to each and every one of you. But with that, that is going to go ahead and wrap up the show for today on XRP. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you have not done so just yet. Don't forget to drop me a follow over on Twitter or X at coin_trades is the handle. Chat with you all over there soon. But otherwise, stay safe, take care, coin traders, and I'll catch you back in the next video.